Check test 1, 2. Okay.
This is what people just kind of know where you have to be quiet. So good job. So good evening. My name is Heidi Hahn, and I am the current Assistant Superintendent with Brainerd Public Schools, and it is just a privilege to have you here with us this evening. What's exciting is this is really a time where we can gather, and we just get to slow down and pause. And we're pausing tonight to reflect and to honor the leadership of Superintendent Larson. So, that's right. We'll make this an interactive program, so feel free to do that more often. So during our time together, you're going to hear many words and memories from those of us who've worked very closely with Lane during her tenure here. Lane, this moment, it gets to be all about you. And we get a chance to help you reflect and look in the rearview mirror and realize what you've done. In the summer of 2018, I had the privilege to begin my role as the assistant superintendent. Lane, in her graciousness and in her mentorship, said, Heidi, you need to come to the superintendent's conference. Interesting group of people to have together and be around the first time, right, Lane? So we had a keynote speaker that year. And the keynote speaker talked to us about grit, and the grit that was needed to be a superintendent. The irony is they had no idea about the amount of grit that was going to be needed in the future years when it came to being a superintendent. I have used the word grit a lot when I describe working with and alongside Lane. Dr. Cinder Kampoff, the author of the book, describes grit as knowing your long-term goals, knowing why you are pursuing them, and sticking with those goals despite many obstacles, adversity, and setbacks. During Lane's tenure, there's been plenty of adversity and setbacks. A global pandemic, for a light example. You've heard Lane say her dream, her passion, her goal has always been to be an educator and to remember that the reason that everyone is here is because of our students. When adversity arose, masking for another light example, she went back to asking, what is the right decision for our students? Nasty emails, phone calls, death threats? Lane never wavered. That's grit. None of that is described in this book. You could write a new book, Lane, just so you know. Okay. Dr. Kampoff also describes grit as being clear on your destination and then preparing to fight and to keep fighting against the tide. It's overwhelming to be in this room with you. And if you look at these pictures, I'm so excited for you, Lane, because you can slow down and see it. Because when you're doing it day to day, you just don't. You just keep going, and you keep fighting, and you keep doing. So I'm very excited for your next steps. And I'm very grateful that you advocated, and that you fought, and that you keep, and you kept our students and our staff as the primary focus. So tonight, we all honor your grit and so many wonderful qualities. So with that, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the chair of the Brainerd School Board, Ruth Nelson.
Thank you, Heidi.
You're welcome. I think I lost my prop.
Here.
Thanks.
It's so great to be here to honor Lane. It's been a wonderful 6 years, and I don't even know what to say, but we are going to go over, as you know, Lane always liked to have a theme for the beginning of every school year. And so we're going to honor Lane, the next few speakers, by using her themes. And the theme I have is Happy New Year. So Elaine, I know you're comfortable sitting there, but you need to come up. Your happy crown.
Is there a blower? I love blowers.
Oh, I don't have a blower.
Oh, shoot.
I should have had, I almost got a blower, but I didn't.
Hello.
Anyway, stay right up here.
Okay.
And I am not the best speaker in the world. I do okay or whatever, but I have a husband who's a wonderful writer. So I had my husband write a poem for this day, and so I'm going to read that now. We are all here to say goodbye, but this is not a time to cry. Lane is leaving us, she's stepping down, but that's no reason for a frown. Think instead of all she's done, I know you won't remember every one. The bond referendum is number one. Its impact will be felt for years to come. Elementary schools all updated, a new school in Baxter long awaited. School security is now the best, and the high school remodel has impressed. The Gitchezebe Center is beyond compare. Great events will happen there or here. And of course, there's a new pool that everyone has said is very cool. With one-to-one technology, our students now all hold a key to unlocking doors of their education. Brainerd warriors of the new generation, Lane led through the challenges of COVID-19, facing obstacles no one has ever seen. She engaged with staff and community to make Brainerd schools the best they can be. So this is a time to celebrate. Things accomplished, also great. Travel and adventure is on the way. A new year for Lane in every way. So now we should all stand and cheer and wish Lane Larson Happy New Year. Happy New Year! And you can keep this. Okay.
I love it. Thanks.
Now I would like to introduce to have a few words.
You got props, all right. Good evening, everybody. You know, some of you way down there should move up this way instead of hanging out at the door. It's like you're getting ready to leave us or something. But come and join us over here if you would, please. As Ruth mentioned, my name is Tom Hagelin. This is my 13th year on the board. And on the second year that Lane joined us, Bleed Blue is what Lane was all about. And you can see even right down to the rocks of our little fireplace, how they had to be blue. Everything was blue. And I don't think there's really anyone that bleeds more blue than Lane, perhaps with the exception of our incoming superintendent, Heidi Hahn. But really what Lane's message was all about from a community standpoint and how the community came together, this being a part of it to make this possible for us. So I would like to recognize all of our community folks that have joined us, whether they're here now or have been with us over the years. I did see Mayor Darrell Olson here someplace from Baxter. Thank you, Mayor, for allowing us to build a nice, new, beautiful new elementary school within the city. Mayor Dave Badeau, thank you for helping us balance the right amount of parking stalls with the right amount of trees and shrubs. Was not an easy task, but we did it together. And as well as all the other community supporters that were here over this time, because really that's what it was about. And when I look at Bleed Blue, once a warrior, always a warrior, to me that was a lot to do with the community and had a lot to do with Lane driving and bringing this community together. I made this comment the other night at our school board meeting that when I first met Lane, I was actually down at a conference, the school board conference, and watched Lane in action before she actually joined us. And during that time was thinking, yes, somehow we need to get Lane Larson to be here as our superintendent. And ever since that day that you joined us, Lane, you've done nothing but tremendous leadership and Bleed Blue all the way, and always a warrior. And you've really instilled that in our community. Along with one other individual, before I forget, I want to recognize, I see Bob Gross in the audience. Thank you, Bob, for joining us and for your leadership over the years. Bob had to fill in for us for 1 year on sabbatical before Lane could join us, so thank you for coming. But Lane, again, just thank you for being such a strong, passionate leader. There's no way we could accomplish what we did without your dedication. I know there were some tough days, tough weeks, tough months. I think the pandemic that's kind of minor to what you've accomplished overall. You can handle anything. We're going to miss you. You've done a fine job in bringing Dr. Heidi Hahn along the way so she can step in, so thank you for that leadership as well. And we wish you the best of luck. We know that you and Warren are not leaving, right? I wish that was in the contract too, but it wasn't. So, but again, thank you, Lane, and thank you everybody for coming. Next up in our third year will be Jana. Jana.
Thanks, Tom. Well, there they are.
So just so you know, there's always a prop too with Lane. So bleed blue, that's what you saw come over. So all of us, we got blue cheerleading crayons, we got blue footballs, anything that we could find that was blue showed up that year for bleeding blue. So that'll give you your next prop.
Thank you. Fantastic. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jana Shogren. I'm a member of the Brainerd Public School Board. And continuing on with Superintendent Larson's fun ways to kick off each school year, I am role modeling after her thank you notes theme. And for anyone who knows Lane, you know she's just outstanding with thank you notes, which I really admire because I'm terrible with them. In fact, 1 year she set out and she wrote a thank you note to everyone in the district. I think that's pretty spectacular. So for just a minute, if you'll indulge me though, I also have a sound effect. I couldn't not. If anybody watches late night television, here we go with my version of thank you notes to Superintendent Larson. I won't do the dramatic writing with each of them. I'll save you that flair. Thank you, Lane, for being a teacher first, always. Thank you for continuously reminding us all there is not any more important work to do than teaching. And thank you for constantly reminding us that we are all teachers. Thank you, Warren, Elise, Lauren, and family for lending Lane to us at Brainerd Public Schools for these 6 years and during her entire career. We know it takes an entire family behind someone in this level of a position to pull this off, so thank you to Lane's whole family. Thank you for cheering on my kids and our kids in the classroom, on the stage, on the field, on the floor, wherever it might have been. You cheered for them when they were in our hallways, and you cheer for them when they spread their wings and move outside of our buildings here. Thank you for truly immersing yourself in our community and weaving the ISD 181 thread through our businesses, through our service clubs, and through our church community. Thank you for believing in me and including me in the Vote Yes committee. Thank you for encouraging me and supporting me on my journey as a newbie on the school board. It's been an honor to serve with you. Mostly, though, thank you for being you and always having a smile on your face. Everyone's talked about the challenges, and those have been plenty, but you always smile through it all, and that just speaks volumes about you. Thank you for your leadership and the legacy that you'll leave. I would just look around for one example through our buildings and through your incredible We Are All Teachers lesson. That's truly a legacy. But most of all, thank you for making it easy to miss you. It's a hard thing, but it'll be really easy to miss you, so thank you. At this time, I have the pleasure of passing the microphone off to another incredible leader in our community who led our Vote Yes efforts and to bring these amazing buildings into fruition. So please join me in welcoming Kim Ellingson, President at Bremer Bank.
Thank you, Jana. As she mentioned, I am with Bremer Bank. I've been there for a couple decades. My husband, as well as my children, adult children, have all graduated from BHS. So I had a bit of a connection when Lane first came to my office. And I remember when I received the call, and I'm pretty sure it was probably Janet Horn who said, new superintendent is here. She wants to get out and meet the community members. And she also wants to talk to those folks who have perhaps been on the long-range planning committee. So I have to be honest, I was a little nervous. I was a little scared because this trailblazer came in. And the first thing she said is, and I quote, "We are going to pass a referendum in District 181." And as you can imagine, yeah, it was a little daunting. But my fright soon dissipated because it was just that I didn't know Lane. And fortunate we were that the board, in their wisdom, brought you here and that you chose to come to the district. As Jenna mentioned, I was on a team that worked on the advocacy committee, and I saw firsthand Lane's energy, experience, and her innate ability to bring community together to get things done. You know, I think back the numerous community and public sessions we had, and I know that people have mentioned that it's hundreds. It was hundreds of meetings that were had, and I think back to the times when we were in township poll buildings, and there were 2 people there, and Lane was still answering questions of folks in the community. In working through that referendum process, it was under Lane's leadership and the fabulous team that she put together that garnered the support of the local chamber, Bladek, and as well as many other businesses. And that doesn't always happen with referendums. And with that, whether it be the improved collaboration that we had with career, tech ed, workforce development, arts and science, making the schools safe, preserving the neighborhood schools, we all benefit from your hard work. I would be remiss if I didn't speak about the personal relationship that I've garnered with Lane, and both of us being in leadership positions, and I'm grateful to have watched and I've taken notes on the challenges that she has had head on. She does not avoid, does not divert or hide, but only recognize the issue, pull the people together, and get it done. So I, as well as many others, will walk in these buildings, and we will see the legacy that you leave behind, and for that, we will be eternally grateful. Congratulations to Lane and Warren, and good luck to you on your next phase.
Next, I want to introduce Charles Black Lance, Vice Chair, but as I'm looking around, I think he might be tied up. That's not shocking. If you know anything about Director Black Lance, he coaches, he volunteers, he's all over. So I'm guessing he's probably still tied up. So, but to continue with the themes, in year number 4, we were under construction, but in Lane's wisdom, she created the theme of under kidstruction. So if you think about being an adult, there's a lot of fun things you get to do with toys for construction. But we had a very big year, and Lane started preparing. She prepared us on the very next day after we knew the referendum had been passed, because she kept saying, the work begins now. And you have no idea. We thought all the work and meetings were difficult. We had no idea what was coming, and Lane kept saying, the real work begins now. And I can tell you, if you speak to the students in our community, they have learned through jackhammers and bulldozers and all sorts of things, in particular at Brainerd High School. As it continues, I think there's a huge hole and trench in the center of A building as we speak. So, but we were under kidstruction, and it's been an amazing journey. And I think what's been very exciting for our students and for all of those involved, it's changed, it's transformed the Brainerd community. I'm in my 26th year, but I was a little kid who was fortunate enough to come here, and I had grandparents. And you would look at the schools, right? Like, 'cause wouldn't it be cool to go to school here? And now I look at them, and what a gift our community has given to our students. So to speak on behalf of our under construction, I'd like to introduce Dave Bergeron so he can recognize lots of individuals who've been involved in this process.
Thanks, Heidi. Yeah, my name is Dave Bergeron. I'm one of the principal owners of ICS. And ICS is a firm that has had the privilege to work with Brainerd School District to help define and implement the Blueprint 181 facility improvement process across the district. But I want to take a little bit of a step back as we honor Lane tonight. My history with Lane dates back to 2009. And Lane was the leader. You're going to see some very similar things as I go through this story with Brainerd. Lane was the leader of the district at Thief River Falls. And the first time I met Lane, I think we both knew we had something that we had common goals together. Lane was the leader of a district that had significant facility issues with a struggle to how are we going to fund to make improvements that are needed. And one of the things that she said is, and I'm gonna quote maybe a lesson from Lane, is that if you expect to do big things, you won't be successful by yourself. And Lane and I knew we both kind of wanted to do big things. She wanted to make those changes needed in that district, just like here in Brainerd. And I wanted to help somebody through a referendum process. So together, it was kind of a match made, right? And much like what I've learned from, another lesson I've learned from Lane, is typically in a non-referendum project, we could get 5 or 6 people together to find a project and then have the board approve it and move forward. But when you're talking about a referendum, you really need a community to follow that. And what I learned early from Lane is it takes a village and we need to bring a whole bunch of people to the table. And along the way, you do not sacrifice the long term. And that's lesson 2 that I learned from Lane, that inevitable teacher in her, is that in Thief River Falls, much like Brainerd, we could have done less. We could have, and it would have been easier had we done a little bit less. But the lesson is, don't settle for less. Dare to dream, even if it's harder. Dare to dream that way. So in Thief River Falls, much like Brainerd, that project took about 2.5 years. And here we're in year 6, another year or so to go. But I think the students, the staff, and the communities for both will benefit. So in 2016, when Lane took the job here in Brainerd, we competed to be selected by the district, and what a great day when we got to work together. We found out we get to work together to help put the Blueprint project together. And the third lesson throughout the entire Blueprint 181 process that came from Lane is always keep the benefit to the kids and the staff at the forefront, and always be thankful to your community for the support that they give. So I've been very blessed to be able to learn a lot of those things from Lane through this process. And in both of those processes, she was the driving force that really moved people and things to do the things that were needed to be successful. And I'd like to take a minute to just share some of the attributes that I have experienced and seen out of Lane. And I think we've already heard it. She's a pretty strong leader, right? But she's a passionate leader. And not only a passionate leader, but an enthusiastic, passionate leader. And one of the things that I learned and I appreciate with Lane is she's a strategic, enthusiastic, passionate leader. And she's been through this process here in Brainerd. She's been through it in Thief River Falls. And if you've been through these, they're not easy. They're hard. And one of the things I have really enjoyed with Lane is she's a determined, strategic, passionate leader. Lane has something that I've always just struggled with putting a word to, and that's she relates to everybody. I've seen her, we'll be at the library and there'll be elderly folks and she relates great, or she can be in a kindergarten classroom and she relates great. And a gentleman told me once that she's the most emotionally intelligent person that they'd ever met. And so I appreciate that she's an emotionally intelligent, determined, strategic, enthusiastic, passionate leader. And one of the other things which I really appreciate, because both on the professional and the personal level, she's been an inspiration to me personally. And so I find her to be an inspirational, emotionally intelligent, determined, strategic, enthusiastic, passionate leader. So what I want to do, Lane, is congratulations on a glorious career in education. You've had such a tremendously positive impact on so many people, including me. Thank you for being that inspirational, emotionally intelligent, determined, strategic, enthusiastic, passionate leader. And thank you for the friendship, for both professionally and personally. And I already miss working with you. So thank you. And thanks everybody for putting up with me. Do you want me to introduce Sarah? Pardon?
She couldn't make it.
I don't know, is she here?
No.
Okay.
That's all go. So thanks, Dave. So Dave was going to introduce Director Sarah Spear, but Sarah Spear was notified she had a family emergency. The good news is everything's okay, and her mom is doing well. So she apologizes for not being here, but she took the time to write some words. Oh, and I should tell you the theme. I'm being neglectful. And the prop. Just so you know, all of us got one of these on her team. So the theme, which was tying in, is when life gives you lemons. And so Sarah wants to speak to that. And these are her words to you, Lane. Thank you, Lane, for the 3 million gallons of equal parts optimism and granulated sugar it took to drive the energy and faith needed for some challenging times. You poured your heart and belief into this community and district. You pulled us all in to work together as a team. Your leadership set the tone for believing we could do hard things and achieve beautiful outcomes if we embraced our challenges instead as opportunities. And thank you to your personal support team, so they're seated here in front of us, who no doubt played a key role in being your home base, your cheerleaders, and your zen in the craziness. Warren, Elise, Lauren, and family, thank you for enduring with grace the after-hour events, phone calls, and emails, keeping up with the school and community activities and events calendars alone. It took a pretty hefty investment in time and royal blue warrior gear. I'm sure you loved your first Christmas gifts. I added that wasn't Sarah's words. So thank you for going all in on us, and we are very grateful. We also know this is a special day for you, and we'd love to offer you the opportunity for a few words.
We don't have any props. No. Hi, everyone. I'm Elise Severson, and I am Lane's oldest daughter.
And I'm Lauren Knutson, and I'm Lane's youngest daughter. We're so excited to be here tonight and want to start by giving a very special thanks to the Board of Education, Heidi Hahn, and to the Brainerd staff for putting this really special event on for our amazing mom.
We would also like to take a moment to introduce the family that we have here with us today. And please stand if you are able.
So first, Warren Larson, our dad, My dad is a true partner in every meaning of the word, who always supported our mom, encouraging her to go to school with 2 little kids in the house and being willing to do whatever was possible to help her to achieve her goals and dreams.
Arlen and Marilyn Bloomer, my mom's parents, are grandparents. Our mom has always said that she would never have gotten where she is today without her parents instilling within her a love of education and without their support through all the twists and turns in her career.
Also here today are members of our extended family. Our mom's brother, Brian, and his wife, Shar, and our mom's brother, Ward, and his daughter, Margot. My mom's brothers always bring laughter and joy into her life, and in true brotherly fashion, surprised my mom by attending today's event.
Last but not least, we have Luke Knutson and Brett Severson. Who absolutely love being embarrassed in my mom's public speeches where they don't know a soul in the room, but they are always great sports and they always show up for everyone.
It's been mentioned already today that our mom is a lover of themes. We happen to know better than most as we were her birthday party trial subjects. Let's see, there was
The Snow White birthday party.
the panda birthday party where my mom hand drew pictures of pandas on everybody's plates.
The 70s disco birthday party.
The 101 Dalmatians birthday party.
Okay.
The 105 Dalmatians party.
The Barbie birthday party.
The alphabet birthday party.
The Crayon birthday party.
The Aladdin birthday party, and so many more. Our birthday parties were admired by all the children of Bagley. As we outgrew themed birthday parties, Mom had to go somewhere with this hidden passion of hers. She searched high, she searched low for other children that she could celebrate with her magical themes. When she couldn't find any, she set her sights on a larger target: teachers and school districts.
With any theme, our mom put her heart and soul into making it the best that it could be. Now, we're sort of making fun of these themes as being funny or fluffy, but they are really the final product of an incredibly thoughtful, organized, dedicated, and caring individual. And yes, Mom, all those adjectives are for you. She would do anything to help improve the lives of children. She has been an inspiring leader in the same way that she has inspired us. Our mom is the ultimate role model. She has paved the way, breaking glass ceilings and demonstrating to young women that they can be anything they want to be. Lauren and I would not be the professional women that we are today if we did not have you as our #1 fan, our role model, and our supporter.
Mom, we watched you progress through your career, starting as a home economics teacher, to being my elementary principal and superintendent in Bagley. Luke only had to visit you once. To becoming a successful superintendent in both Thief River Falls and Brainerd. Everywhere that you have been, you have successfully and positively impacted the lives of children and families. And because of the real impact I have seen you have, I decided to be an educator too. You should feel so proud of all that you have accomplished in your career, and we feel so honored to have been part of your journey. We're so excited as well to see what comes with retirement. We love you.
It's fun because I feel like we know all of you very well, because any of us who spent time with Lane, you are her pride and joy. So she's shared her stories and she shared the moments with us, which we're grateful for. And we're more excited that you get time with them, Lane. So thank you. Director Boyles, if any of you know Director Boyles, he travels all over, and unfortunately he is traveling all over again. So to pick up his theme that he was going to be in charge of, we've asked Principal Andrea Rusk to speak to our 6th theme. So Lane had 6 themes in her 6 years, and the theme that Andrea will speak to is remembering. Oh, I'm going to let you introduce. That's even a better title. Oh, look at that.
Right.
That's right. That's awesome. So I'll get your prop. I'm the prop.
Welcome, everyone, and it's really nice to have you join us to celebrate Superintendent Larson. Lane has been a tremendous mentor to me in my role here as principal, and as we like to say, she's done a lot of heavy lifting through some great challenges. Last fall, after we thought we completed the most challenging year that we've had in, public education or in education, Lane opened our new year with, of course, the high level of optimism. And her theme last year was the power of a card, always be on the right side of your why. And it grabbed our attention. I know the staff looked there and they're like, well, we usually see B's, Brainerd. Lane opened up to our staff that morning, and she shared her story, a very personal story of fighting breast cancer. Her story was real, and she shared it so we could understand how small acts of kindness can be so powerful. In her story that she shared with us, she shared how 8 handwritten cards literally changed her life after her diagnosis. She went from a point of her lowest ever in deep despair to a deep commitment to fight this disease, which she did. Since then, Lane has, I'm sure, written thousands of cards. And this year, she wrote a handwritten card to every staff member in our district. And that's, of course, a tremendous feat in itself. But please know, that's not the first card I've received from Lane. In her back-to-school message, I remember fondly her sharing a story about one very important card. Her predecessor in Bagley, Gary Bratvold, when she became a superintendent, he sent her a card. And this was back in 2006, when after 23 years of being a teacher and a principal, she got her chance to lead a school district. Gary sent her a handwritten card whose message of congratulations provided her with the direction for her future as a superintendent. The message meant so much to her that she showed it to us and she said, I always have it either stapled, she has a card which is stapled to her bulletin board, or as she's moved, she's taped it to her computer monitor as a reminder. Following a lengthy message of congratulations, Gary drew a picture. And it's a picture of a Y. Lane showed it to us and wrote best interests of on the left side of the Y. Anyone, best interests of on the left side, anyone, anything else. And on the right side of the Y, it said simply students. Gary added, always remember which side of the Y you need to take, the right side. This is why we all went into public education at Brainerd Public Schools, Lane shared, for the students, our future. She left us that day also with a quote that stuck with me. People who have chosen to work with young people quite often will not see the fruits of their labor for years afterward. Stay the course. Stay vigilant. Relentlessly positive. Visualize and look forward to the finished product. It is worth it, she shared. It is the right side of our why. Thank you, Lane, for always leading by always remembering the right side of your why. No matter if you are with community or with staff, students, and even strangers, her focus has always been, and she always says it when she addresses our people in speaking publicly, she always wanted us to work on behalf of the lives of our children. And all of us who've worked with Lane know that. That's always her message. Through COVID, through construction, and through continuous improvement processes, you challenged each of us to remember to be on the right side of our why. Thank you. I'm so excited for your next chapter, but I want to thank you for mentoring and leading us through this great, exciting, positive time. Thank you, Lane.
So I go back to the definition of grit. Be clear on your destination, and then prepare to fight and keep fighting against the tide. Know your long-term goals. Know why you are pursuing them, and stick with them no matter what. Lane, look what you've done. So at this time, we would like you to come up and have a chance to talk to us.
I just needed a hug. I'm absolutely honored to be here tonight and to have all of you here as I celebrate my retirement, but more than that, that we celebrate our partnerships together, our friendship and the love that we've been able to stir in one another. I look at every one of you that's here, and I love each and every one of you for a different reason. I've got 3 little parts to this tonight that I want to talk about, but I too would like to just thank a few people just on my own to do that. And I have to, and I'm going to start just a little bit different tonight than you probably would anticipate, but I want to thank my husband, Ward. All of the people that I'm going to talk about made a huge difference in where I am today. But this is the guy that when we did have 2 little girls, that he encouraged me to continue to do my master's work and all my administrative work, even when it was every weekend for 2.5 years that I was gone. And he's also the one that lived in Bagley his entire life. And as I became the superintendent of Bagley and I wanted to try a bigger district, I know that doesn't surprise anybody, that I wanted a new challenge. And he followed me and he led me and we went hand in hand together to Thief River Falls. And 7 years later, when this incredible opportunity to come to Brainerd came about, and I said, "You want to go?" And he was right there with me. He has taken the brunt of the tough days, guys. When you see Lane Larson running around this town or wherever you see her with a great big smile on her face. But when you go home, it's not always that easy. And he's taken the good times and he's taken the bad times. And he has been my soulmate and the love of my life. And so please give him a round of applause. And I'll be shorter on the other ones, but my daughters as well, and my son-in-laws, Elise and Lauren, Brett and Luke, you guys are the best. And so I won't embarrass you too much, Brett. I know you're looking like, oh, she always does this. But so many people, just ask about my family, and I tell you, I think the 6 of us are the best friends in the whole wide world. And there's nobody in the world that I want to do more things with than this group right here. And I'm so proud to have you as my children and my children's spouses, who are the most beautiful, wonderful people in the world. It is also an honor today for me to have my mom and dad here. As my kids said, my mom was a paraprofessional at Kindred Public Schools for 37 and a half years. And yeah. Yep. And my dad came back from the Korean War, and my mom and dad met and got married on my mom's 18th birthday. And my mom always, always, always wanted to be a teacher. And my mom and dad both valued education so much that all 3 of us, Brian, Ward, and myself, all became college-educated, productive citizens in our world because of your commitment to education and what you shared, and how you kept saying how important education is in our life. And of the 3 of us, 2 of us ended up being teachers. And to me, that says something really powerful about the power of educating and the power of being a teacher. But I also want to say, as many of you know, my dad had a couple tough falls this year, and we've had some challenges. And when we were down in Arizona in February, and he was having a tough time, and when I left that day, he said to me, "When's your retirement party?" And I said, "It'll be sometime in June," and he said, "I'll be there." And my mom and dad are here today, and so please give them a hand. And my 2 absolutely fabulous brothers who I love with all my heart, Brian and his beautiful wife, Shar, Ward and his lovely wife, Jill, who couldn't be here today, but their daughter, Margot, is here. You guys, the 3 of us, we're quite the team, and we're strong, and we're best friends. And I couldn't ask for greater family than the family that I've been given, and I love you all. So thank you. I also want to thank my family and my friends for being here. I want to thank the Board of Education members, and it's all of the Board of Education members that I've had since I've been here. I want to thank all of you for believing in this little girl from Kindred, North Dakota, who had a dream to be a teacher, and all of a sudden at my one daughter's graduation, I said to my niece, Elizabeth, and I said, "Someday I'm going to be the superintendent of this school." And somewhere or another, that dream came along. But Ruth Nelson, our chair, why don't you stand and be recognized? I don't know that everyone knows all of the board members. Tom Hagelin, Charles Blacklance, Janice Sjogren, Kevin Boyles, Sarah Spear. I also want to recognize Bob Nystrom, who is on the board. Please stand, Bob. Reed Campbell, both of them were on the board. Sue Kern, I see her right in the back over there. Sue is there. And I remember the day I met all 3 of you and saw you when we were interviewing. And so thank you for believing in me and for bringing me to Brainerd. I love you all. Thank you. And thank you for hosting this beautiful party. Also, many people that haven't been acknowledged today. Heidi, it's just been a pleasure the last 4 years to work alongside you, and I couldn't be more honored to have you taken over the realm now as I move to the next phase of my life. To Janet Horn, and I'm not sure where Janet Horn is, but the executive assistant for the superintendent, she truly does run the district. So, yep. And back right behind me, I see one of my dear friends who called me and said, "We want you to come to Brainerd," Willie Severson. God bless you, Willie. Thank you. And he came clear right from the beginning, and he said, I just got to call it clear. My son is dating her daughter, so everybody's just got to know. So we're glad they're married, and Willie, it was an honor that we got to work together for a year before you retired. And to Angie Bennett, Marcy Lord, Tim Murtha, Anne Marie, lots of people here. Sue Anderson, thank you so much. Travis Stroman, Carla Axelson, Alyssa Thompson, Reed Teesey, all of our principals, Todd Sauer. Todd, I see you over there, and I remember at your retirement a couple weeks ago, and you said, I was so worried nobody would come. That's how I felt. And Andrea, Jody, I saw her a little bit ago, and to all of our administrative team. And to the teachers and our entire staff, our cooks, our bus drivers, our custodians, our students, our families, the Brainerd Public School Foundation, and our community partners, ICS, our APAC committee, our equity team, the Brainerd Lakes Chamber, the city councils at Brainerd and Baxter, Bladek, Bort. Oh, I'm just so blessed to have worked with so many incredible people. And I thank you for touching my life, and I'm so excited that we're staying so that now we can just be friends and go out on the water and enjoy our life together. So now to part 2. By this time, you all know me well enough to know that I will never waste a teachable moment when I have an opportunity to speak and to share some parting thoughts. So I'm going to begin tonight by paraphrasing a favorite quote that I have, which I referred to throughout my career in Greater Minnesota's public education, back when I was in Bagley. And I need to acknowledge my dear, dear friends, Kathy and Doug Sloan, for coming from Bagley today to be with us. And Kathy is one of the most exceptional teachers I've ever met. And I remember she brought this quote to me when I was sitting in the assistant principal's desk one day, and it has stuck with me ever since. And it's from Gabriela Mistral. And she said, "Many things we need can wait. The child cannot. Now is the time that their bones are being formed, their mind is being developed, and their future is being built. To the child, we cannot say tomorrow, because the child's name is today." And we need to remember that. And during the past 6 years of my tenure with Brainerd Public Schools, we've done a lot of building together. And we've kept that at our focus, all on behalf of our children and their future. We have built their bones through nutritious meals with our food service, our breakfasts, our lunches, the snacks, the weekend meals that our food service sent home during COVID. Through our physical fitness programs, our extracurricular programs that we have in schools, just to name a few. We've built their minds through rigorous course offerings, high quality professional development, music programs, career and technical education, advanced placement, our activities, and many, many more. And we've built our children's future by providing opportunities and innovation for their success. And we will continue to do that at Brainerd Public Schools for the life of this district, because our mission is as follows. In partnership with our community, Brainerd Public Schools ensures that all students achieve their individual potential by providing the highest quality programs and resources necessary to prepare our learners for an ever-changing and global society. Together, we build futures. And I have often said, and I think, Dave, you brought it up a little bit ago, and I think you get tired of hearing me say this, but if we think we can do anything alone, anything of a significance alone, we are badly mistaken, because it won't happen. It takes the right team at the right time. And as I reflect tonight, that's exactly what we've had. All of us working together in partnership, pursuing educational excellence for every single learner in our district. Together, we've built futures. We've built in many ways. Clearly, through the facilities that we're in tonight. In 4 short years, we were able to make a difference in 13 buildings. Our community, in partnership, passed the biggest bond referendum in the history of Minnesota, right here in Brainerd, because we care about kids. That is the community I live in, and that is my home. Look at what we get to celebrate in tonight because of our incredible community. Our community and our Board of Education committed to safety and security. In this crazy world we're living in right now, they prioritized and put their efforts to ensure that we had the safety initiatives necessary to protect our children, our staff, and every single guest that comes to our home, our school district. The third thing that we've built is we've prioritized construction at all kinds of levels, in the academics, the arts, the activities, and in the athletics. Every single board meeting that we have, I'm totally amazed by the successes that we recognize that our children have accomplished and our staff have accomplished. Together, we are warriors. The Board of Education has also demonstrated a commitment to continue to build equitable opportunities for every single learner in our district, just as our mission shares. And without trying, we have built resiliency, responsibility, adaptability, competence, and much, much more in all of our children during the COVID pandemic. During that 2.5-year time period, we clearly learned the importance of in-person learning and what it means to have the teacher sitting right across the table from the child. Also during that time, we built one-to-one technology device structure in our school. Within 8 short days, we had 8,000 computers distributed to our children and our staff. And the training was provided so that we could provide distance, hybrid, and in-person learning models at any given time while maintaining the high level of rigor that is required. Our teachers are miracle workers, and we should never, ever forget the power of a teacher. Ever. We demonstrate strong fiscal responsibility to our taxpayers while allowing flexibility for ever-changing challenges. And we also work to build public and community trust through an extensive district-wide communications campaign. And these are just a few of the ways that we build our students. And I concur that in every action we take in public education, we are building our future through what we provide to our children. Thank you for your partnership and your commitment that we have constructed together. The final part is just a little bit different today, but every single day I have several people ask me, what does it feel like to be retiring? And what are your future plans? What are you and Warren going to do? I've been asked it many times tonight. Have you also? Yeah. And honestly, we don't really know. One thing I said is I'm going to turn my alarm off, and we're going to sleep in. And we do have a little trip planned for the fall, but we really don't know. But as for myself, as I look back tonight, it's really bittersweet. After just under 40 years in Greater Minnesota's public education system, I am actually retiring. Lane Larson is hanging up her pantsuit and her construction suit, and I'm actually going to try on a jogging suit, a travel suit, and maybe even a swimming suit for a little bit of relaxation and stress-free, healthy living. I've told this story many times recently, and that is that retirement is not at all what I expected. It's nothing like I expected. Early in my career, I would share that I was going to retire in the year of 2016 on the day that I met the Rule of 90. And I thought I'd be so thrilled once I accomplished that milestone. But actually, when that time came, I was still having fun. I felt that I was still making a difference. And I had a lot of energy and enthusiasm, and I saw no reason to retire. So, what did I do? I came to Brainerd. Now, 6 years later, I find that I'm spending a lot of time reflecting, looking back in the rear view mirror. Wow, what a ride. I see behind me 40 years of pride. I see behind me 40 years of high-quality teaching and learning with some of the world's best practitioners right in this room. 40 years of athletic competitions and performing arts exhibitions that Warren and I got to celebrate and enjoy together. I see 40 years of lectures and speeches to develop and to give a message of vision and of hope. I see 40 years of just plain fun. After 40 years, I can honestly say, I am proud to have spent my career as a public school teacher. Hal Bowman once said, in the best schools, every person in every position is a teacher. There are dozens of titles, but they all share the same role, and that is to change a kid's life forever. I must be honest. I believe that public education is at a critical turning point in our current society. Therefore, now more than ever before, we must continue to support our school like never before. At Brainerd Public Schools, we must continue to put students first. It's the right side of our why. At Brainerd Public Schools, we must continue to pursue educational excellence for every single child that enters our building. We must continue to find common ground and to support our outstanding practitioners and our fellow colleagues, building and supporting the most important profession in the world and not allowing anyone to cut down our profession. We must give full support to our next awesome superintendent of schools, Dr. Heidi Hahn, who is equipped and prepared and will do a fabulous job leading our school district. Let's give her a hand. It's awesome. You'll do great. We must continue to build our future by making our education system stronger when we leave than when we arrived. Always remembering that many things we need can wait, but the child cannot. His or her name is today. As I take one final look in my rear view mirror, I reflect over the last 40 years with the greatest of pride. It brings me back to the COVID days when Lauren introduced me to this awesome TV series, This Is Us. The series just concluded in May, and I don't know what I'm gonna do, but anyway, this spring, I'll watch it again. Yeah, that's what I'll do, you and I, during retirement, yeah. This spring, in the second to the last episode, William gives a beautiful and a stunning speech to Rebecca, referring to the difficulties and the realities of endings. These are the last words that Rebecca hears before going to the caboose and before she passes away. And I feel that these words run parallel to how I feel about retirement. William stated, "The way I see it, if something makes you sad when it ends, it must have been pretty wonderful when it was happening." I'm going to say it again. The way I see it, if something makes you sad when it ends, it must have been pretty wonderful when it was happening. Truth be told, I always felt it a bit lazy to just think of the world as sad, because much of it is. Because everything ends, everything dies. But if you step back If you step back and you look at the whole picture, if you're brave enough to allow yourself the gift of a really wide perspective, if you do that, you'll see that the end is not sad. It's just the start of the next incredibly beautiful thing. No chapter in life is forever. The good ones end, and the bad ones do too. Life keeps moving, and we move within it. And chapters always come to a close. My friends, my family, my warrior community, I choose to look at my current experience not as a retirement and not as a sad ending. Rather, I look at it as a graduation, my next new beginning, another beautiful chapter that Warren and I can share together in our wonderful and blessed life. As your superintendent of schools, I believe the greatest legacy that we can leave our children is to provide them with happy memories and to help build a belief in their future personal success. Thank you, Brainerd Public Schools. I am honored and I am humbled to have been serving as your superintendent of schools. ISD 181 is in great hands, and it will always have a special place in my heart, a place called home. Once a warrior, always a warrior. Thank you, and God bless you all.
You need to stay right here, okay?
We have one more little presentation. What a wonderful evening. And we have a special tradition here in Brainerd for our past. We've been blessed with multiple wonderful, great superintendents, and you're right at the top of that list. And we always have in the boardroom a portrait of our outgoing superintendents with a quote they put and then a message from the board. And so Lane had already talked about her quote from Hal Bowman. In the best schools, everyone in every position is a teacher. There are dozens of job titles, but they all share the same role, to change a kid's life. And we just wrote on here, thank you for your passionate leadership and guiding the transformation of our district's facilities while continuing Brainerd's tradition of excellence. So here it is, and you get your own. Yeah. And this will be forever in our boardroom. Thank you. You bet. So you can grab that one.
I get that one?
We'll get this one back to
Warren,
Janet.
you can look at this every day.
Right at the foot of your bed.
Thanks, yeah, I got it. Oh, let me get the cleaning soap, that's gross.
So you can keep standing, because hopefully we're going to make you walk over and get some more food, too, before you're done. Tonight, we kind of led and really focused our conversation around Lane's themes. And the best part about that is she united us. She united us to do great work, and your legacy is going to continue to unite us. So thank you, Lane. And before we're done, this fabulous party would not have happened without some extra help. So I would be remiss if I don't take time to thank John Erickson over here to my right. He's our volunteer BPS archivist, and he did a lot of our photos and just a great supporter. So thank you, John. He averages about 120 hours volunteering a month, so any of you would feel free to follow in those footsteps. We'll take your name and number right now. Carla Axelson over here, she's been very instrumental as well as getting our videos together and putting things with us. Justin Barnhart set up so we could have music and the live streaming that's happening right now and the program's going, so thank you to Justin and our technology group. But Justin's our main guy. And last but not least, Miss Janet Horn. Here she is. So Janet ensures that we all stay on track. So thank you so much for coming this evening, and please make sure you take time to visit individually with Lane too. We appreciate all of you being here.